Hello students, my name is Sunil Mishra and today we will discuss about CHSE class 12th Unit 1 Electrostatics Chapter 1 Electric Field and Charges. So first of all we will discuss about charges. What are charges? See, charge is a scalar quantity and symbol of charge is capital Q or small q. We can denote charge as capital Q or small q. And unit of charge is coulomb. It is denoted by C. Smallest charge in the universe is electron and charge of electron is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. This negative sign is for electron. And mass of electron is 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 31 kg. Then charge of proton 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. And mass of proton is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 27 kg. So we can conclude that there are two types of charges. One positive charge, one negative charge. Positive charge is called proton and negative charge is called electron. There is another type of charge called neutral charge or neutron. Okay. Next, we will discuss about quantization of charge. Now, we will discuss about quantization of charge. What is quantization of charge? If there is a body, let us say there is a spherical body. Inside this body, there are number of charges. We can't count charges inside the body. So, there is a law called quantization of charge. What is this law? It states that the total charge inside a body is integral multiple of smallest charge. So, if there is a body, any type of body, spherical, square, any type of cubical body, so this law acts for every body. It states that the total charge inside a body is integral multiple of smallest charge. And what is the smallest charge? We have discussed now. Smallest charge in this universe is electron. So, total charge is equal to, let us say, we will denote charge as small q. So, total charge inside a body is equal to integral multiple of smallest charge E. What is integral multiple? If we multiply an integer with the electron, then it will be a integral multiple. Okay. So, what is the value of n? N will be equal to 1, 2, 3 up to infinity. Okay. So, quantization of charge is, if we want to calculate total charge inside a body, then we can say that the total charge inside a body is the integral multiple of smallest charge, that is electron, and the formula is Q is equal to Ne. Okay. Next, we will discuss about electrostatic force. What is electrostatic force? Electrostatic force means the force between two charges is called electrostatic force. So, what type of force is that? Electrostatic force may be attractive or may be repulsive. We know equal charges repel and unequal charges attract. So, if we will place a positive charge here and a negative charge here, then these charges will attract each other. But if I will place a positive charge and a positive charge, then they will repel each other. Same case with negative charge also. If you will place two negative charge, then the charges repel. So the force of attraction and force of repulsion is called electrostatic force. Okay. So now we will write the definition of electrostatic force. The force of attraction or force of repulsion between two charges is called electrostatic force. Clear? The force of attraction or repulsion. Attraction in the case of opposite charges and repulsion in the case of equal charges. So the force of attraction or the force of repulsion between two charges is called electrostatic force. Now we'll discuss about Coulomb's law, which is based on electrostatic force of charges. Coulomb's law of electrostatics. If there are two type of charges, then there will be a electrostatic force. So let us draw a diagram. Let's say there is a charge Q1 and there is another charge Q2 separated by a distance r. Okay. The force between these charges will act the line joining the center of the charges. Okay. So the force will be experienced on this line only. Coulomb has given a law that is called Coulomb's law of electrostatics. So what is the law? The force of attraction or repulsion. So what we will call the force of attraction repulsion, that is electrostatic force. Okay, the force of attraction or repulsion, or you can write the electrostatic force. Okay, the force of attraction and repulsion is directly proportional to product of magnitude of charges. We will not consider the sign of charge here because Coulomb has stated we have to take the product of magnitude of charges. So signs are not taken here. Then is inversely proportional to square of distance between the charges. This is the law. The force of attraction or repulsion is directly proportional to the product of magnitude of charges and inversely proportional to the square of distance between them. We can write it mathematically. What will the expression? In mathematical form, we can write mathematically, force is denoted as F. Okay, So force is directly proportional to magnitude of multiple of charges, means product of magnitude of charges, that is q1 into q2 and its mod. Okay. Then second statement is inversely proportional to square of distance between them. Okay. It is equation 1 and equation 2. If we will combine these two equations, we will get F is proportional to q1 q2 by r square. Okay. Force will be proportional to product of magnitude of charges divided by square of distance between them. We know that if we will remove this proportionality, we have to multiply a constant there. So F is equal to K q1 q2 by r square. Here K is called Coulomb's constant, and there is a certain value for K. K is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Okay, and the value of K is 9 into 10 to the power 9. Okay, Newton meter square Coulomb to the power minus 2. Okay, K is called Coulomb's constant and its value is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, and the value of K is 9 into 10 to the power 9 Newton meter square Coulomb to the power minus 2. What is epsilon 0? Epsilon 0 is called permittivity in free space. Okay, epsilon 0 is called permittivity in free space. And what will be the value of epsilon naught? The value of epsilon naught is equal to 8.854 into 10 to the power minus 12 Coulomb square Newton inverse meter to the power minus 2. Okay, epsilon 0 is called permittivity in free space. If I will rewrite this, then the formula will be F is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 by r square, and this is called Coulomb's law in electrostatics. Okay, now we will discuss Coulomb's law in electrostatic in a medium. If there is a medium, let us say the medium is glass, water or any type of medium, then what will be the Coulomb's force? See, epsilon naught is permittivity in free space or vacuum. Okay, there is another permittivities, that is epsilon r, and there is another constant called dielectric constant K. The constant of Coulomb's force is also K, but it is different from that. Okay, it is called dielectric constant. If there is a medium of epsilon r, then what will be the Coulomb's force? Then F equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, which is Coulomb's constant, multiply epsilon r in the denominator, then write as it is q1 q2 by r square. If the medium is epsilon r, then we can write Coulomb's force as 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into epsilon r whole into q1 q2 by r square. What will the value of 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught? That is 9 into 10 to the power 9, and epsilon r is divided in this formula. So here epsilon r and q1 q2 by r square. So epsilon r will be given in the numericals, and you have to remember the constant of Coulomb's force, and the charges will be given in the numerical and distance also be given. Okay, then we can calculate Coulomb's force. Okay, if the medium is in a dielectric constant, if we put a dielectric constant there, then the force will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into k, that is dielectric constant, whole into q1 q2 by r square. If there is a medium of dielectric constant k, then Coulomb's force will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into k, whole into q1 q2 by r square. Then put the value of 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, 9 into 10 to the power 9 whole divided by k into q1 q2 by r square. If dielectric constant q1 q2 and r square, these values are given, then we can calculate Coulomb's force. Okay, now we will discuss about Coulomb's law in vector form. Okay, so we have taken a Cartesian coordinate system. The frame of reference is O, that is origin. We have taken two charges q1 and q2 in the Cartesian coordinate system. So from the frame of reference or from the origin, the distance of q1 is r1 vector, and r1 vector is called position vector. There is another vector O to q2 is r2 vector, that is also a position vector which shows the position of the charge from the origin. Okay, here is a force. If there are two charges, then Coulomb's law says that the two charges will experience a force. So if charge 1 is experiencing a force due to charge 2, then we can write it as F12, means force on charge 1 due to charge 2. Similarly, F21, force on charge 2 due to charge 1. Okay, if the two charges are experiencing some force, then they will displace. Okay, so we have taken two displacement vectors there, r12 vector and r21 vector. Let us write r1 vector, position vector of charge q1. Okay, r2 vector, position vector of charge q2. Okay, then F12 vector. What is F12 vector? Force on charge q1 due to charge q2. Okay, F21 vector is force on charge q2 due to charge q1. Okay, then there are two vectors called displacement vector. R21 vector is displacement vector from q2 to q1, because the direction of R21 is from q2 to q1. Then R12 vector is displacement vector from q1 to q2. Okay, r12 vector is the displacement vector of q1 to q2. The displacement vector travels from q1 to q2. Okay, next we have to prove that these two forces are equal and opposite, equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. So let us prove this one. So what will be the force F12? Force F12, this is Coulomb's force, so we will apply Coulomb's law. F12 vector is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, which is constant of Coulomb's law. Then q1, q2, because there are two charges separated by small distance, q1, q2 by, what will be the distance here? Okay, see the direction. If force is acting in this direction, which displacement vector acting along the force, that is r21 vector. This displacement vector acts similarly as F12 vector, the directions are same. So we will write r21 whole square. This is in magnitude form. So we have put here vector symbol, but this thing is not a vector. This is a constant, these charges are constant, and we have taken r21 as a magnitude. So what we have to do to show that is a vector quantity? We have to multiply a unit vector. Which unit vector? This one. Okay, r21 cap. So r21 cap is the unit vector which shows the position or the direction of the force. Okay, next we know that what is a unit vector. How we can calculate this formula? If a cap is a unit vector, then its value will be a vector divided by magnitude of a. Okay, if a is a unit vector, then its formula will be a vector divided by its magnitude itself. Okay, so if I will write this one in this form, so what we will get? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 by r21 whole square, then r21 vector divided by magnitude of r21. Okay, this is a magnitude and this is also a magnitude. This is r21 square, this is r21, multiplied together this will be r21 cube. So 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 by r21 whole cube into r21 vector. Okay, this is the final derivation of F12. Similarly, we can write F21 accordingly in this process. F21 vector is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 whole divided by, the force direction is downward and the displacement vector r12 is in the direction of force. So we can write r12 whole square, okay, into r12 cap. Similarly, okay, we can calculate these values. So 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 divided by r12 whole cube into r12 vector. Let us put its equation 1 and it is equation 2. So what we have to find out? The value of r21 and r12. If we will calculate these two values, then we can prove that these forces are equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. So remember these two equations. Okay. Now we will calculate the value of R21 and R12. I will write here the equations. F equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R21 whole cube into R21 vector. This is our equation 1, and F equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R12 whole cube into R12 vector. This is our equation 2. Okay. So now we will calculate the value of R21. R21 vector. See, this is a vector. So R21 vector is acting along the force, and we can see a triangle O, Q1 and Q2. So we can put the vector law of triangle addition. Okay. So I will put here triangle law of vector addition. Okay. So what is triangle law? Triangle law states that if two vectors acting in same direction, the force which opposes the two forces, that will be the resultant force. So now if I will put triangle law for R21, what will the value of R21? See, the direction of R2 and R21 is in same direction, and R1 is opposing these two vectors. Okay, so I can write R21 plus R2 vector is equal to R1 vector, because R2 and R21 are acting simultaneously and R1 is opposing them. So R1 will be the resultant. So resultant R1 vector equal to R21 vector plus R2 vector. So what will be the value of R21 vector? That is equal to R1 vector minus R2 vector. Okay. Similarly, we have to calculate the value of R12. See, OQ1, this vector, or R1 vector and R12 vector are acting simultaneously. R2 vector is opposing them. That means R12 plus R1, we can add these two vectors and that will be equal to R2 vector. So R1 vector plus R12 vector is equal to R2 vector. From here I can calculate R12 vector, that is equal to R2 vector minus R1 vector. So R21 vector and R12 vector. See, R21 is R1 minus R2. R12 is R2 minus R1. If I have to equal these two forces or these two displacement vectors, I have to multiply a negative symbol either of them. Okay. If I'll put these values, so what will be the value of F? So F12 vector will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R21 Q. What is R21? R1 minus R2. R1 vector minus R2 vector, but will not give the symbol vector here because it is in magnitude form. And R21 vector will be R1 vector minus R2 vector. Okay. Then F21 vector is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R2 minus R1 whole cube R2 vector minus R1 vector. Okay. From these two equations we can conclude that F12 will be equal to minus of F21. If I will multiply a negative symbol here, then this will be R1 minus R2. Okay, so we can conclude that F12 vector is equal to minus of F21 vector. This is the final derivation of Coulomb's law in vector form. Or we can say that Coulomb's law obeys Newton's third law of motion. What is Newton's third law of motion? Newton's third law of motion says that to every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. So action and opposite reaction. Okay, so students, ये चैप्टर रिलेटेड जितने भी नोट्स हैं एग्ज़ाम के लिए सब हमारे LRNR एप्लीकेशन में डला हुआ है, तो जाके चेक कीजिए और पढ़िए. सो नाउ वी विल डिस्कस अबाउट इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड. व्हाट इज इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड? Electric field is denoted by E. Okay, what is electric field? If there is a charge, then it will have some force. If we will bring another charge to this region, then there will be the second charge will experience some force, the force of attraction or force of repulsion. So we will check the force of repulsion. If there is a positive charge, we will bring another positive charge towards it. Okay, and this charge will experience some repulsive force. So there is a space around the charge. Okay, so the space around the charge is called electric field. Okay, if a positive charge bring towards this positive charge, it will experience some force from a distance from this charge. So there is a space around this charge. So this space around the charge is called electric field. Okay, the space around a charge from which its electrostatic force can be experienced is called electric field. Okay, the space around a charge from which its electrostatic force can be experienced is called electric field. What is electrostatic force? Electrostatic force is force of attraction or force of repulsion. Okay, next we will check the intensity of the electric field. Okay, so next we will discuss about electric field intensity. Okay, what is electric field intensity? How we will check the intensity? If we will move a charge towards the electric field, then how much force was given to the second charge, that can be explained by electric field intensity. So what is electric field intensity? Electric field intensity inside an electric field is the force experienced by a unit positive charge. Okay, electric field intensity inside a electric field is the force experienced by a unit positive charge. Okay, and electric field intensity is a vector quantity. We can denote it as E vector. Okay, so what will the formula of electric field intensity? E vector is equal to force experienced by a charge. Let us say charge is Q naught. Okay, force experienced by a charge inside a electric field is called electric field intensity. What will be the unit of electric field intensity? SI unit of electric field intensity is, the unit of force is Newton and the unit of charge is Coulomb. So the SI unit of electric field intensity is Newton per Coulomb, or we can write it as Newton Coulomb inverse. Okay. Now we will discuss about superposition principle. So superposition principle states that if there are number of charges, any number of charges, I have taken 3 charges, but if there are n number of charges, okay, if there are so many charges or a number of charges, the total electric field, okay, the total electric field will be equal to the vector additions of individual electric field. Okay, so for charge 1 there is a electric field of E1, for charge 2 there is a electric field of E2, for charge 3 there is a electric field of E3. So for a number of charges, for a number of charges, the total electric field at the point of intersection is equal to vector sum of individual electric fields. Okay, for a number of charges, the total electric field on the point of intersection, okay, on the point of intersection, the total electric field will be the vector sum of the individual electric fields. So we can write, let us say E net is net electric field is equal to E1 vector plus E2 vector plus E3 vector. This will be the formula of superposition principle. Okay. Next we will discuss about electric lines of force. So what is electric lines of force? Electric lines of force inside an electric field is the path followed by a unit positive charge. So electric lines of force inside an electric field is the path followed by a unit positive charge. So now we will discuss about electric lines of force for different charges. Okay, for a positive charge, electric lines of force is always outward. Okay, for a unit positive charge, electric lines of force is always outward. For a negative charge, electric lines of force is always inward. Okay, if we combine these charges, then how will be the electric lines of force? We know that lines of force travels from positive to negative, because positive is outward and negative is inward. So this is first diagram. Second, for positive and negative charge, electric lines of force will be from positive to negative. So the diagram will be like this. Okay, for two positive charges or for two negative charges, what will be the electric lines of force? Let us say for two positive charges, we know equal charges repel and positive charge lines of force goes outward. So okay, this will be the lines of force, and the direction of lines of force is outward. Okay, and for two negative charges separated by a distance, here also there are two equal charges, that means the lines of force will repel. So lines of force will repel here. And what will the direction of lines of force? That will be inward. Okay, here some number of lines of force for different charges and combination of charges. Okay, now we will discuss about some properties of electric lines of force. Electric lines of force starts from positive charges and ends on negative charges. We have seen in the diagram. Okay, electric lines of force starts from positive charge and ends on negative charge. Tangent on lines of force give the direction of the electric field. If we draw a tangent on the electric lines of force, it will give the direction of electric field. Okay, two lines of force never intersect. Two electric lines of force never intersect, because if two electric lines of force will intersect, then there must be two electric field, but that is not possible. We have seen in superposition principle, only one electric field is possible there. Okay, so two lines of force never intersect. Lines of force starts normally from a sphere. Okay, if there is a charged sphere, then the electric lines of force starts normally, means from 90 degree. This is 90. If starts from this point, this is 90. Okay, so electric lines of force always starts normally from a sphere. Why sphere? We have considered the charge as a spherical body. Okay, a unit positive charge gives 4 pi number of lines. A single positive charge gives 4 pi number of lines. Here pi is 180 degree. Okay, so in this chapter we have discussed about the properties of charges, quantization of charge, Coulomb's law in vector form, and electric field intensity. Okay, superposition principle, electric lines of force and properties of electric lines of force. Okay, so in the next video we will discuss dipole, okay, and axial line, equatorial line, everything. Thank you. We will meet in the next video.